What are you most proud of in your career?
As a psychodramatist?
As a psychodramatist.
I think the experience of the international work, but I think the blessing of knowing Zerka, August Bloomquist, Liz White, the people that Anne Schussenberg-Brochet, the people that, you know, we stood on, we stand on, going to be there and train with them. My work at St. Elizabeth's Mental Hospital, being exposed to the things I was exposed to, ASGPP, the International Group Psychotherapy Association, the people that believe in this method touch my heart. They really do. So I think it's just being in it over 30 years and never being bored. Because I keep learning. It's the thing that you keep learning. There's so much to learn. And as you age through the process, there's a lot to learn. So I think that's the people, the culture, the beautiful method.
So what is it that brought you first into psychodrama? How did you get into psychodrama?
I got into psychodrama when I was working on my master's degree at the University of Arizona, and Tom Schramsky, who was a TEP, came and did a demo in my class. And I went, whoa, I want to learn that. And I was getting ready to graduate, and I heard that there was an internship at St. Elizabeth's Mental Hospital in DC, where our second psychodrama stage is. And I applied with 250 and was blessed to be one of 7 chosen to study there for a year. And I just think once you get bit by the psychodrama bug, you go for it. You go for it. So my training there, and then becoming a CP, and then studying with Tom for my TEP, and then running into, well, like Shirley Barkley and Elaine Saganoff and Rosalie Minkin and the people you meet who said, and August Bloomquist, who said, you're coming to the international trainers, come on. And that's when August and Zerka were doing the international trainers weekends up in New York with bringing in people, trainers from Europe. And so I got to meet a lot of people, upon which I then was invited into Europe. But the person I want to name is David Kipper. He called me one time right after I became a TEP and said, Dena, you must join the International. And I didn't even know what it was at that time. And it was being held in Mexico. And he called me, he said, I think this would be good for you. And I was a little nervous about doing it. And so I didn't go until, they're every 3 years, but I went to Argentina. And just the whole international thing was just fabulous. And from that, it just grew. But it's like someone coming in to my master's class. I never would have known about it. So I go now, and I go to the University of Arizona, Arizona State University, the social work school, their master's programs, and I give back that way because that is how I found out about it. And I did teach a graduate class in psychodrama at one point in my life, but bopping in now is important. It's important to reach the young people.
What's psychodrama given you?
Wow. A life. I'm accepted. My spontaneity, my creativity, my weirdness is accepted in psychodrama. It fills my heart and joy, and the people. I mean, I have friends for over 30-some years from psychodrama. Milton Hawkins and Dale Buchanan are my buddies, and they're from St. E's from 1983. And international friends, I think at this point, I could probably go to any country in the world and have a free place to stay. And, but it gave me a family, a psychodrama family, nationally and internationally. and I've had major losses in my life, and it was my psychodrama family, my real family and my biological, but my psychodrama family and my international family that's helped me get through those losses. We're a family. We are.
And, you know, we're talking about the ASGPP. How long have you been with the ASGPP?
Since 1983. Because I came into psychodrama, because that's when I went off to St. Elizabeth's in 1983, so I became a member, and I think that's 83, I think 84 is the first conference, and I presented, I think the first time I presented was 84, 85 probably, if I graduated in 84. So 85, I've presented every year since, probably.
So what do you get from the conferences?
It's changed over time. Starting out, it was awe, because, you know, I was in that era of the Hotel Roosevelt in New York, where you would sit in the lobby, and I remember as a young intern at St. E's, and there were 7 of us, we all went up there, and I was like, oh my goodness, because Shirley Haskell came in with this big hat, and people came in with capes, and they were all like really drama people, and just seeing the names from the articles I read and just being in awe, and there was like 1,000 people. I mean, it was big back then. And so just being, I guess, starstruck in some ways when I laugh about it, but really like, wow. And then over time and presenting and knowing people, and there's just so many talented people. And then as it changed over time, and we've gone down in numbers in that, but the love and the hard work that people put in is still there, is there. I mean, I know I did the award ceremony for 5 years and was chair of that, and just up there giving out the awards and reading about people, but the memorial service were always important to me, because it is our ancestors, and it's the people that taught us, and it's just that changing over time, and seeing myself go from this starstruck person to this old-timer and receiving the Jail Moreno Lifetime Achievement Award, and it seems like I just started yesterday. And to receive that reward was very touching. But it just doesn't seem, where did the time go? It just, and to see the international people joining ASGP more, and I sat on the American board for 9 years, and I mean, just the different changes from different things, you know, along the way that you see, and the tests, and how people get so anxious over the tests, and yeah, just watching it shift and change. But there's always a core of people that love this method, and they work very hard, very hard.
What are you working on now? What's, you know?
Well, right now I'm in psychodrama, or in life, or who knows.
Well, yeah.
Well, like I said, I've been in private practice, my own private practice, for 30 years, and psychodrama. I train nationally and internationally, and I love culture. As I said, I'm the international chair of psychodrama for IAGP. Presenting in different cultures. I'm in a place of giving back, like going into the colleges and doing classes that. But what I'm really interested in for myself is I'm taking a 2-year spiritual direction class. And it's about moving on in life into that next phase. And as Moreno said, moving on to the cosmos. And I'm really looking at the spiritual. I'm slowing down in some ways, and I want to write. I know as psychodramatists we're not writers, and I have done, I think I had to graduate from St. E's at the time I graduated, you had to have a publishable article. And I'm a doer, not a writer, but I wrote one of the first papers on PTSD and the Vietnam vets that's in our journal. And so I'm quoted all the time because it was one of the first one that's done. But I really have the time as I slow back on things. I'm going off the international board after 9 years in August. And I'm wanting to write on spirituality and psychodrama and the aspect of it. And that's my journey as well right now.
What would your hopes and dreams be for the psychodrama community, the ASGPP?
And it doesn't die.
Is there fear?
There's always fear because we're in such a turbulent world, and people, I mean, there's so many things, you know, SE training and EMDR. I mean, there's all these trainings, you know, and people only have so much money, and where the trainings are, and traveling and all of that, and our lives are so busy. My fear is that, you know, Zerka was, you know, she was said to me, get on that IAGP board, don't let the psychoanalysts get to that board. But I think we've got to get the young people, we've got to get people involved. And after a while, it's the same people doing the same things. And I don't want to see burnout. And I think we are bringing people in, but you need that training group or through the universities to get people in and then get them involved. And how do we make it economical, and for people to share hotel rooms, or, you know, not having, it's worldwide for people, and we're getting more virtual, you know, things, and how can we do more, you know, how do we put it out there? In other ways, videos, you know, such as this, probably, advertising it, what people love about it. And it's a powerful method. And I love that it's growing. It's the lawyers, it's the doctors, it's the teachers, it's not just not mental health, it's organizational, it can do so much.
Could you give me an example of someone you worked with, or something that psychodrama just changed their life?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story, if you need to edit it, maybe. But, you know, when you've directed a lot of dramas, there's certain ones that stick out. I mean, people come up and say, oh, you directed me, and you're like, okay. And this has happened, but one of the dramas I directed, and this was back probably in the late 90s probably, and it was a University of Arizona professor that came to see me, and she said, Dena, I'm in a trauma group, a sexual abuse trauma group, and I've been working with a therapist, but there's a part in my life that we can't get to, and she thought maybe you could help, and I would like to bring my sexual abuse group to be the group, and you direct me. And I said, sure. So she came to my office with her group, and she had been sexually abused by her father from the age of 7 to 14. And she had done a lot of work, but the point that she couldn't get to was the first time she had oral sex with her father. Her father had oral sex with her. And so I set the drama up, and, you know, I had her in the mirror position. Someone was playing her down in the bed, and her father, and how we set the pillows and all the things we do in psychodrama, and the act was going on. I froze it as she was watching, and I said, what do you want to do? I swore that she was going to go kick her father or rip her father out of there. But no, she went up and she wanted to kick the auxiliary that was playing her in the head. and you got to be quick sometimes, and I stopped her and I said, what? And she said, we had a deal. She wasn't going to have an orgasm. We had a deal. And I said, oh. And so I said, she was a science professor of some sort. And I said, you know, I want to create a role here. And I had like this flowery little thing you put on your head and some scarf. And so I said, I'm going to invite Madame Orgasm to come in here. So she came in as Madame Orgasm. And I said, would you tell her about what an orgasm is? And to this day, I wish I had that recorded, because it was the most outstanding bit about the human body and how if you touched, it was going to have a reaction. And she went through this. It was absolutely amazing. And then role reverse, and it was played back. And when that ended, the entire group of women had to wear Madame Orgasm's hat. A month later, I got a thank you note from her in the mail. And it said, Dr. Baumgartner, I can't thank you enough. I've had, for the first time, an orgasm with my husband. Psychodrama is powerful, but that story, there's so much about it that's so beautiful in my mind, in the healing process, and being able to change a role or see things different. And I have other stories, but that one is one that touches my heart. And the work I did with the combat Vietnam vets touched my heart.
So if you were Moreno, either Zerka or Jacob, and if you reversed roles with them, what would you say to the psychodrama community of the ASGPP? What would you, Moreno came, or Zerka came back, what would they say?
Your job is still to heal humanity. Do not forget that. Role reverse. Role reversal is getting people to understand, help them to see the other side, raise their spontaneity and creativity. It's a troubled time. This method I created, Moreno, can work. People need this method. And Zerka would just say, we're social atom repair people, get out there, get out there.
And what legacy do you want to leave for yourself?
I don't see myself in that way, but I don't. But I know I've touched people. I would like to leave my spontaneity and creativity. The fact that, you know, you learn the rules, you learn the process, and then add yourself. Add who you are, whatever that modality you come from, but use your spirit and let spirit work through you. Because psychodrama is has such a spiritual component. You know, as Moreno says, we're all gods. And because of that, and it's because of our spontaneity and our creativity. And we're co-creators. And if I can leave, I mean, I've had young people say, thank you, I can do something like that, you know? But raising the spontaneity and creativity and letting people say that I touched them and opened their lives to do that, gave them permission, that would be nice. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.